a lot of hypnosis centers. And he taught all his employees, when people come in to get hypnosis, and you ask them what their problem is, what they're working on, it's never what they say. Because if people knew what their problem was, they could fix it. So I think that's profound. Like, I don't think our problems are the ones that we can articulate. It's the ones that we can't articulate. It's where the problem is. Because once we can articulate it, then you can do battle with it.
I hear that.
It's like it's the stuff that's it's not the stuff that's like right here in the center of our thinking, and what we daven for and what we pray for, and like let me just get this. It's the things that aren't on our mind.
I'll tell you what I came up with
Mm-hmm.
over Yom Kippur.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you didn't talk about my my status right after Yom Kippur. I said write
me in the Book of Death.
I said seal me into the Book of Death.
Yeah.
Or during Yom Kippur, I said seal me into the Book of Death. And here was my feeling why. I can't take the pain anymore of being perpetually single. I can't do this anymore. The whole religion, the whole Torah religion, is based on being married.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, it's abnormal. It doesn't work to be alive and single and by yourself and celibate and trying to keep Judaism. It's not going to work by yourself. And it's like before we even get going, we need to be married, and it's never going to be. I really came to grips with the fact that I'm never going to be married, and that's it. And I'm never going to have any money, and I'm down on the, I'm begging. Remember last week?
Yeah.
I'm begging for bread right now.
Yeah.
I don't have any money, and this is it. And I'm just like, you know what, God, do me a favor. You're not going to do anything for me. I've prayed all the time. Nothing ever goes my way. So just write me into and seal me into the Book of Death, and get it over with, and get it over with fast, and just done. I don't want to suffer here anymore.
So you have to eat by families for the next 8 days of Succoth because you don't have a sukkah.
Yeah, sukkah's a pain in the ass for me.
So what's that like?
It's terrible. I hate it. I hate sukkahs. I hate sukkahs because it only works if you're married. It only works for people who can have their own sukkahs in their own backyard. And if you don't have that, then you're just fucked. And especially if you are the kind of person with social anxiety. The truth is, there's something I didn't talk about in my book.
Yeah.
Maybe I did. I don't remember. I haven't read any of it in so long. But my rabbi told me, who's a tremendous Talmud Chacham, that I probably have a heter across the board. That, not having to daven the minyan, not having to do any of these things, I'm probably across the board. I could go to a big gadol and ask the shah. I haven't done it, but he's like, I'm probably, because of the OCD and of all these things, I'm probably across the board putter from all of those kind of necessary, things, like going to a daven in a minyan and going to shul or going to somebody's, or going inside a sukkah and stuff. I'm probably, anything that involves me leaving the house, I'm probably putter from, probably exempt.
But I mean, that's great, but there's no life living inside your house. You weren't always this agoraphobic.
Well, you got to understand, it's. I actually talked about it in the book that growing up with an alcoholic parent, it's very common that a kid will become agoraphobic and just become a loner in their room. And that's the way I was. Growing up, I was the loner in my room. I had very few friends, if any. And that's who I was. I've always been that way. So now I'm just like in my room all the time.
So I didn't know you did so many drugs.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you really did the...
Well, I didn't do heroin. I didn't shoot anything up. I didn't do that.
Okay. But pretty much everything else.
You know, I think that the biggest one I ever did was like, I dropped acid once a week.
But you were abusing like alcohol. And...
Oh, well, I've been drinking a whole lot since the day I was 8 years old, or 8 days old. 8 days old. I had my first drink.
So when did you quit drinking?
20, almost, where are we? Almost 28 years ago, I had my last drink. And that was my last drink or drug, because, I'd already quit pot, which I smoked every day, and I already quit acid, and all the other things. And they were easy to quit. They weren't a big deal. Drinking is a bitch. Anyone who quits drinking, you have my respect, because I know how difficult that is. People underestimate how difficult it is to quit drinking.
So is alcoholism a disease or a lack of moral will?
Those two choices I reject. It's C, none of the above. It is an addiction. It is a physical addiction. Your body gets accustomed to it, and it needs that addiction. And it will take over, and you've got to have it. It would be not different. Yom Kippur, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go crazy. Maybe not everybody does, but like you have like sugar withdrawal, and
right.
your blood sugar is way down, and there's like a physical fucking need to drink. I don't know about you, but I'm completely dehydrated. I have a tremendous headache by the end of Yom Kippur, and you're just like compelled. I gotta have some water. I've gotta have some sugar in me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is the addiction to alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
You have got to have alcohol in your bloodstream quickly. It takes over your head. So I say it's none of the above, because to say like it's a moral, lack of willpower. Try fasting for 72 straight hours and tell me that and when you can't do it, you'll say you have no willpower. So, and smoking cigarettes, by the way, which I just passed the 10 years on, 10 years without cigarettes, that is no small feat either. I say cigarettes and drinking are really two of the hardest. I've heard heroin is the kicker. Cocaine and heroin. Well, I was not addicted to cocaine that heavily. But cocaine and heroin, I heard, are...
You were always in control of your coke habit. I gotta say that.
I wasn't. I didn't have a habit. I didn't have a coke habit. And first of all, coke's too expensive, right? So I never really got into it. I didn't have that much money, So I've been, I only took it when like somebody was offered to me at a party or something, or some chick that was with it or something. But I didn't take like a lot of it. And acid is like a poor man's high. I mean, you can fly for 12 hours for like $2. I mean, so that's like a nothing.
So for how long were you doing drugs?
Oh my God, I've been drinking. I had been drinking my whole. It's hard. People say, when do you start drinking? If you're Jewish, you start on you're 8 days old. You have your first drink.
When did you start abusing alcohol?
When I was 16. Everything started changing when I was 16. That's when I started smoking pot every day. That's when I started drinking every day. Raiding my parents' liquor cabinet and stuff like that.
So what was the hole in your soul that you were trying to fill with alcohol?
I think I wanted to be dead. I just wanted to escape. I wanted to get out because it was all becoming very, very painful for me. And I was first consciously suicidal at 17. Mm-hmm. And that was when I really wanted to be dead.
And what did you think of I assume, did you walk the 12 steps? Did you go to meetings?
No. I told you, I wrote it in the book. Here's the problem with AA. I went there for about 2 or 3 months back 27, 8 years ago. But see, I'm an all or none. It's got to